No Concessions, episode 20 with Jon Reep. Erwin's here. He's my comedy finder. Funny man. Thanks, John, for visiting with us today.
My pleasure, guys. I feel very secure in here in this bank vault right now. Are there actually things in these lock boxes here?
We've looked
Security
at all
boxes?
of them.
My dignity.
Oh, yeah, that's the bigger one,
You
138.
had dignity?
Yeah.
It was a
So at
secret.
one point, though, these people would use these. Have we been through them? Do we have keys to them? That would be a good episode.
Well,
People
yeah.
call in with a number. You're like, oh, I got 193. And you go, okay,
Oh,
two keys.
man.
What's in here? You know, kind of like that storage finders
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. That's a pretty
Storage
good
Wars.
idea.
Storage Wars.
Storage
yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
That'd be a good engagement thing to do. To get people and give away tickets to something.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
you
at that,
win
man.
this.
Dropping knowledge.
Whatever's
already.
in here, zero.
You're a genius at branding. Are you sponsored by Sundrop and KY Jelly?
Sundrop, yes. KY Jelly, no, that was a stunt.
Oh, okay.
I was going to Kentucky. Oh, actually, it was based on a joke. I have the last video special I did was Metro Jethro, and in the bit I have a joke about my dad being really dumb, and he has he thinks KY Jelly is marmalade from Kentucky.
Oh.
And I was
that's awesome.
going to Kentucky, and I thought, well, let's make a peanut butter and lube sandwich.
Oh, that's fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
because I would think KY jelly, it's meant to go inside
Yep.
of orifices,
Yes.
so it's got to be safe for you to digest.
Consumption.
Right.
Ready.
So I thought it won't kill me if I eat it. And on my podcast, I made a peanut butter and lube sandwich, and I ate it.
Oh, wow.
The whole thing?
No,
All right.
I ate half of it.
It has,
How's it
that
taste,
treat you,
man?
man?
It's mostly peanut butter.
Yeah.
You don't taste the jelly.
Peanut
so
butter's a
much.
good conduit to
Such
eat
a
just
rip-off.
about anything, you know what
By
I
the
mean?
way, they could make flavored KY jelly. That does exist. There are motion lotions and edible underwear, and these things
Right.
exist.
I messed
So
around with
I
some
think
edible
like
pennies
KY
once.
jelly is leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
they could be making blueberry KY jelly, grape KY jelly,
What flavor would you choose?
rhubarb.
That's awesome.
That's fancy, man.
yeah.
That's
Rhubarb.
seasonal.
It sounds sexy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually get down with food inside the intimate zone.
No,
you know?
I don't either.
I like just the natural flavors.
It is. It's kind of like suggesting, like, we know, ladies, that what you're about to do to us is so gross to you that we have to jazz it up with some flavor.
Yeah, you gotta put some sauce
just
on
to
it
get you to
sometimes.
go down there.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, man, I was giggling at my favorite bit that I've seen of you is about your dad being in the closet and he was gonna just scare you.
Yeah.
And then you was feeling yourself with a Prince song.
Yes,
And
totally.
that had me giggling hard, man. To
True
tears.
story.
Because I just imagine when I was a kid doing crazy stuff, listening to music, pretending to be a rock star or whatever. And and God knows things I wouldn't want anybody to see me doing. Lord of mercy.
How can you imagine? I mean, how much today their kids record themselves all the time on purpose.
Yeah.
If you imagine all the videos that we could have had from our childhood had we had this technology and all this stuff, And that happened. I mean, I like Prince. I was seventh grade.
Yeah.
Going through it,
I feel you. Yeah.
and didn't know he was in the closet. I'll tell that one tonight if you're going to be out there. I'll tell it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
out here. I'll be making sure everybody's being
He
quiet
didn't know
doing
I
what
was
they're
going to
supposed
do all that. That was
Yeah.
the thing. So I just came home for the listeners who don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
we're
You
talking
want
about.
to tell them about this bit? This is
So
great.
basically, my dad likes to scare people. That was my whole childhood, was him scaring the crap out of me all the time. Had to walk on eggshells in my house. And we had come home from church or whatever, had to use a bathroom. My dad sneaks off to my room, hides inside the closet, just because he wanted to scare me when I went in there to hang my clothes up or whatever. Now I go to my room, shut the door. I don't know he's in the closet. And I just turn my radio on, and it's Prince singing When Doves Cry. And I just start getting all sexy for myself in the mirror. I'm lip syncing. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm rubbing. I'm getting into it,
Got the nipples going.
Go the whole
baby.
time, all of it. I get all the way down to the black socks and tidy whities, and Dad was in the closet the whole time. Now he could have stopped me. He could have just said, "Well, okay, joke's over. Never mind. I'm gonna leave now," and saved me a little embarrassment. But then he was hoping I would forget to go to the closet, and I would have just left the room, and then he could have snuck out later. So he was in there for the whole thing. And then I go to hanging the suit up, open the closet. Now he's there, and he's like,
yeah.
"Sorry about that."
That'd be a moment. It's like your
You
mom.
son of a bitch.
The worst thing is your mom being like, "Hey, not too sure what's going on with all the socks under the bed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Jeez.
Why is so hard? Why are your socks hard?
yeah. Junior high.
Your
tough
socks
time.
walked out of here before you came in. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, for sure. Is that
She
Cher
must
on
have
your
hated
hat,
doing
man?
laundry.
Yeah, this is Cher on my hat. So on my podcast, I would do a thing. I don't do this anymore, but this is how old this hat is. I would convince people to hit the share button
Okay.
on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And I would do a thing called the share stare. And I realize that you're afraid if you hit the share button right now, you're going to miss something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stare at the camera for 15 seconds. And I'm just going to sing a share song. And this is your opportunity to just go ahead and hit the share button right now.
Right.
And I would do a share stare. And that was like to remind people to hit the share button.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm deep, man.
Yeah.
Prolific.
So I guess, are you still a Carolina fan after that arrest or whatever?
Never a Carolina fan.
No?
I went to NC State.
Okay.
I'm a Wolfpack guy. When you say Carolina,
The
you mean
Panthers. Yeah.
Panthers. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Well, in my brain, when people say Carolina, they're talking about the university.
Right.
Yeah. Panthers, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really arrest. It wasn't their fault. It was the
Right.
mascot's fault.
Yeah.
So there's a video of me on YouTube getting kicked out of a Carolina Panthers game for dancing in the end zone with the mascot. And, he waved me out there. He did not know he didn't have the authority. It was the first year of the Panthers in the NFL.
Right, I
So
remember.
we were all learning as we were going, I guess. I was already in the stands dancing my butt off, just making my friends laugh, being a goofball. The mascot of the Panthers sees me dancing and waves me out there to dance with him.
Yeah.
And, the cops, if you ever notice the security at football games,
Right.
they're not watching the game. Their back is towards the game. They're looking at the crowd,
Right.
like looking for problems. And the Panther was on the field. So they didn't see the Panther invite me out there. They just thought I was some drunk idiot, which I was.
Right.
But I was totally invited. And so they didn't see that part. And then as I'm doing the worm, they come up behind me. And the wedge, it's like a great wedgie.
Yeah.
It's a really good wedgie. And they just pull me up, and I'm up on my tippy toes. And I'm like, what's the problem? And I'm like trying to explain to them, Sir Purr, that's our mascot, invited me out here to dance. And and they don't want to hear that noise. So it wasn't the organization's fault, the
Right.
Panthers organization. It was that one dude in that outfit, which, by the way, I am friends with that guy now.
That's funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, that story happened before I did stand-up comedy. And so that tape of me getting kicked out lived forever.
Uh-huh.
And then over the years, I would talk about it and that kind of stuff. And I happened to be in Charlotte doing promoting a gig on the radio. And I brought it up. I'm like, if anybody knows who that guy was, I'd like to meet the actual human being. Could it be a girl? I don't know. That was in the outfit that waved me out onto the field that day. And then that guy, he called into the radio station, but I was already gone. So we were trying to connect with each other, and it didn't happen for a long time. And I was finally doing a show in Greenville, South Carolina. And the guy walked up to me, and I had heard his name to the grapevine. His name was Tommy Donovan.
Right.
And this guy walked up to me at the end of a show. I was selling my merchandise. He goes, "Hey, big fan, great show, Tommy Donovan." I was like, "Whoa, you the Tommy Donovan?" He's like, "Yep." And then we hung out that night. We went to a bar afterwards, and we shut the place down. And the guy's funny.
Yeah.
He actually he still does stand-up, just as a goof from time to time, just for fun. I don't think he's trying to make a career out of it. He just likes to get up on stage, and he's a funny guy. I mean, he's mostly in the real estate business.
That's wow.
I know, it's crazy. I was like, how did you even get into
Yeah.
this? So crazy. So he opened for me a couple of times.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and then I'd make him go put the outfit on.
Right.
Did you really?
Small world.
Like, go put that costume on.
How'd you
Sir
get
Purr.
into the stand-up comedy? I guess you were in theater, right? And
Well, I was a
kinda into
theater
that?
major at NC State, but I didn't take that seriously. I chose theater because I thought it'd be easy.
Oh.
I barely got into college. I went to a community college in Hickory, North Carolina for a couple of years, trying to figure out what the hell am I going to do with my life. And I realized in those 2 years that I did not want to stay in Hickory. I had to get out of here if I wanted to do anything. At the time, Hickory's great, by the way. I'm not slamming Hickory. But for me, I had to just get out of that comfort zone. And so my friends talked me into going to NC State, which is in Raleigh, about 3 hours outside of Hickory. And there was a program. I don't think this thing exists anymore. There was this program that NC State was doing called the Lifelong Program, or Adult Education, which means anybody off the street could walk in, take 2 classes and 1 PE, and if you do well, they might admit you as a full-time student.
Okay.
So I thought, I know that's meant for people like in their 30s,
Right.
like who went off and did a life, not people still like 19 or 20 trying to get in through a back door loophole.
Yeah.
You know, my SAT scores were not good enough. I didn't even take community college seriously enough to get in there. But we found a loophole. We got in that way. And then after I got in that way, I realized I had to pick a major, and I knew I had to pick something easy. Like, I seriously was like, well, what? I don't know. What's easy? Well, athletes, they're usually pretty dumb people. What are they taking? I'm just kidding, by the way. Don't whip my ass. But, you know, a lot of them just get on it because they're good at sports and they're not that bright. So I thought, well, that's me, except I'm not good at sports. So what do I do? And it was communication. They all just choose communication.
Right.
And I thought, all right, well, I'll do that. And then within communication, there are all these little different things, mass communication, TV, all this stuff. And theater was one. I thought, well, I'll try that. And then I got into that. And I realized in these acting classes and stuff that people were like, you're good at this. I want to do a scene with you. And before I knew it, it was like it turned into a thing. And it's something I was good at.
Right.
And I thought, oh, and I can major in it. So I get the degree. I get to have fun. I don't know where it's going. I didn't think I'd be an actor.
Right.
I just thought, well, let's just see how this goes. And then I realized there was a comedy club next to the campus. In Raleigh, North Carolina, there's a club called Good Nights.
Charlie Goodnights.
Yes. You been?
No, actually.
Never been?
Never been.
Oh, one of the best clubs on the East Coast by far. They just relocated.
Yes.
It's one of those rooms where
great
if
history.
you're mediocre funny, you're going to think you're the funniest thing on the planet. It's such a cakewalk room, which is great.
Why is that? What makes it cakewalk?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's a mixture of things. I think one is just the people in the city itself. So you had a mixture of college kids. It's the capital. So you had a lot of like people
Working for government.
Yeah. So you had that college, and then you go 20 miles outside of any city, it turns into redneck.
Oh, for sure.
So it's a good combination.
Welcome to Winchester.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel that already. I think this is gonna be a great night. I can already feel
I was excited
vibe.
when we all lined up to get you here because
There's people walking around. They're all smiling. They're in a good mood. It looks like. So I think Raleigh's one of these places where people are just happy.
Sure.
San Diego is another place like that. Where you go to La Jolla, you can't have a bad show. Everybody's already in a good mood before they get there. So that makes for a good crowd, I think. And then the club itself, the environment. Is it soundproof? Is there light coming outside? Does everyone know how to do a comedy show? You know,
Do the servers do the right thing?
do the servers know what to do? Right. It's all these little things that have to be done to make it a cakewalk.
And is the light up on the stage really bright?
Yeah. Can they see me? Can they hear me? Are there any distractions? Distractions can kill comedy. You know, that's why I hated doing comedy during COVID, because a lot of times you had to perform outdoors.
Okay.
Oh,
And
God,
that sucked.
And the Zoom shows.
The Zoom show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you might as well not even do a show on the
That
Zoom.
was horrible.
So
I
potato
did
chips.
maybe 2 of them. Potato chips bad.
Potato chips are not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
All right, hey, we're
Soft
gonna
French
get back
fries.
we're going to get back to the drawing
Soft
board.
fries. No knives and forks. Clink, clank, clink, clank. You know.
And then there's that person who's supposed to be the master of the control center, and they never mute the person who's over there going, Charlie, can you go let the dog in?
There's that, and then you've got honestly, the best clubs don't even serve a full menu. It's
Correct.
like they got drinks and maybe like little hors d'oeuvres. You don't want a 5-course meal coming out. You know, you want people paying attention. Like, theaters are the best.
Right.
Because there's no table and there's no waitress. It's them, and you're looking at the stage, and that's it. That's what's lit. That's the focal point. But yeah, so Raleigh's a cakewalk room. Nashville, Tennessee, Zany's Comedy Club.
I want to do that.
One of the best
Heard.
to me, it's the best. Denver Comedy Works
I heard that's good.
is one of the best. And then Good Nights was right up there. They relocated. I've not been to the new one yet, so I don't know if that's going to be any good.
I liked Harvey's out in Portland too. Did you ever do?
Harvey's out of Portland. I've been to Portland.
It's closed now.
What did I do in Portland?
Probably Helium.
Helium.
Yeah.
That's what I
The
did.
upstairs room.
Yes.
Are you going to get down to the mothership in Austin?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Brand new. Eventually, I'm sure I'll make a pilgrimage to the. I was just there in Austin not long ago. I did a venue. Oh God, I forgot the name of it. The Vulcan Gas Company. It's where like a lot of these guys do the podcasts and shows like that. Another room not set up for comedy, but it was okay. They had a gigantic. First of all, the stage was like 8 feet too high. So people are looking up at you like this. That's bad.
Yeah.
Then you've got this DJ, like it was the show after me was going to be like a DJ. So they had this gigantic thing on stage with all these turntables and stuff. And you had to walk in front of that on this thin little strip. I'm like, so really I'm not the star.
Oh,
this stupid DJ booth is the star. And I got to walk around him.
The daggone DJs, man. They make all the money. They don't have to do
That's
too
why
much
I don't
work.
like opening for bands because a lot of times they'll preset the stage with their music or their guitars,
Yeah.
their drums, and then if I accidentally kick it over, I'm the a-hole.
The ones I always had fun with were the performing arts centers that had their play set up, and you had the whole play behind you. And I did one where
Yes.
I had one where there was a Neil Simon play, and so they had like multiple rooms set up. So I literally was walking through the rooms. I just
You got
sitting
use
on the
space.
couches, sitting on the couches.
Yeah, you might as well. That's so funny. That happened to me actually in my own hometown before I moved back to Hickory. I did a gig for like this charity event, and it was at the Hickory Community Theater, and they already had the stage set for the show that weekend, and I did the exact same thing. I sat on that couch over there. I went over here. I walked up to the fake upstairs and opened the door and showed everybody
Did
there's
the same
nothing
thing.
up here.
Yep.
Yeah. As comedians, we get to have fun with the space. It's our space.
Yeah.
Until the next guy gets up there. And if you choose to preset it, then that's fair game.
One of the plays that I had following me, the beginning the week right after my show was called Assisted Living the Musical.
That sounds great.
I'm joking. I'm like, what are they? They're walkers and they're doing
Yeah,
what are they doing?
Oh, that's funny. Where was this?
This is the Milton Theater in Delaware.
I'd love to see that.
The Assisted Living the
Yeah,
Musical.
totally. Well, my dad's
that would be funny.
My dad's in a skilled nursing facility now, so that's
Okay.
part of my life these days.
Yeah.
Is going there and just seeing that world, and it's ripe for comedy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You were talking about NC State. A friend of mine who said he's worked with you, a comedian named Mark Matusoff.
Yes.
He said he went to NC State and you guys, I guess he worked with him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's great.
He's a great guy.
He
does
was
the mandolin.
headlining-
The mandolin.
He was been headlining for a long time, and I knew him when I was starting out.
Yeah.
And so I opened for him randomly at some sort of one-nighters here and there. And he was, it was before I knew that, hey, that your act ain't going to work everywhere in every environment. You got to kind of tailor it a little bit. So I was at some random restaurant, we're in the corner. There's a lot of distractions going on. And I just go up there and do my thing as if we're at a comedy club. And people are like, how come he's not talking about this table who's obviously having a birthday or whatever, random things where Matusoff knew how to do that. And he killed that night. But he was super nice to me in the beginning.
Oh, he's like one of the nicest people
I
in the
love
world.
him. Very funny, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets on, to give you an idea, he gets on stage, he finishes his act plays a mandolin. And he starts playing Jimi Hendrix with the mandolin.
Nice.
And it's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
He's at my club this weekend, so that's why.
Good.
I saw him last night. Yeah.
Where is he based out of?
Woodbridge, Virginia.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of people down from that area in Fredericksburg, you've worked with Danny McBride before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think y'all would be amazing in a movie together.
I agree.
Something like a Step Brothers.
Let's
or
make some
your,
phone calls.
Your Bandits, you know what I mean?
Call the agents.
That
Yeah.
shit would be
JT,
fucking
start the
hilarious.
brokering, man.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I mean, some of the people that he was raised around down in Fredericksburg, those are the kind of people that be here today.
Now, he's from Virginia, isn't he?
Fredericksburg's just down the road.
Fredericksburg.
Well, it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, the way the roads are here, you have to go up 66 to DC,
Yeah.
back down through.
I could route it. No, I would go through Warrenton way.
Yeah, you can
but
do that.
So I was on the last season of Eastbound and Down, and I worked with him for that one whole summer. Great guy, funny dude. those guys. That was a highlight of my career.
Really?
Because I was already at home watching Eastbound and Down.
Oh, okay, awesome.
As a fan. I was him for Halloween one year. And then at the time I was married, and me and my wife at the time watched this show, and we loved it. Then I got divorced, and it was not good. And now I am single man,
Right.
and I just got on this show, and I get to be in Wrightsville Beach for the whole summer, partying with these guys, and knowing that the ex will have to watch this. And
Awesome.
has no idea that I'm going to be on it.
Yeah.
And I'm get to ruin that for her.
That's amazing. Man.
So that was great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see something like
But
that.
I mean, I got nothing but nice. He's very funny. That whole crew is funny and nice and humble and not afraid to let other people be funny.
Right.
You know, like they liked it when people would improv. And I was,
I feel it down in my plum.
I feel it down in my plums. Yeah, that wasn't him. That was Will Ferrell.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That seemed
But
like
they
it was
all
improv.
Yeah, totally. I remember like the first day, and I wanted to do a good job because I was a fan of the show.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to memorize all these lines, and I get everything memorized. And it was like, take one. Everybody's going off the script. And I'm like, oh. Well, when do I come in? I was going to come in after that guy says this.
Right.
And that kind of threw me for a loop. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that. Let me, all righty, we're going to improv. Let's improv. And it turned out great. But they really like it when people, they want you to you add your own flavor in that kind of
I
stuff.
think that's what made it such a good show.
Yeah.
You
when
can't
stuff
put a
like
bunch
that
of
happens.
comics in something and not expect something.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. I mean, that's why that's a good show. There's a couple of other shows like that. Curb Your Enthusiasm is like that, where it's
I
like,
love that show.
we're going to give you an idea. You know, in this scene, these three things need to happen. You guys make it up. And it's like, oh, okay, we could do that. And
When they opened the restaurant, that movie is on that show. That was great, man. The French dude with Tourette's.
Man, how many seasons have there been of Curb Your Enthusiasm? There's a new one coming out in the fall.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 12
But there'll be like
15?
13 or
If
14
we only had
or
a
something.
device to look that up.
I know. They need to get
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do you have a
What's
guy?
going on?
A producer who can.
Is he awake?
He's like, come on, Jamie. This guy does DJing.
Isn't that what
at
producers
night.
are supposed to do? They're supposed to hear things and.
It's like a intuition, you know?
How many seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
We could ask Alexa here. Or
Curb Your
Siri.
Enthusiasm. How many seasons have there been?
Let's see here.
We
See if I
got
can
curfew,
beat
Alexa.
I feel like it's 9 or 10.
He's one of those DJs that leaves his stuff on the stage.
him. So is everybody in here from Virginia?
I'm from Tennessee originally.
Oh, what part?
I was born in Bristol and lived most of my life in Johnson City.
Number 11.
Okay.
They've been 11, so the next one will be 12. Bristol, Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
I was just there not long ago.
Did you perform in
I
at the
did.
casino? There's a new casino.
No,
down there.
actually, it was a theater that was right on the line. So Bristol, Tennessee, right, is also
Is it
close
Paramount or something like
Paramount.
that? Yep.
Yes. But it's close to what other state?
Virginia, Tennessee border.
Tennessee.
Yep.
Yep,
They're
that's
both.
it.
They share Bristol.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
in the
right.
hospital, they asked my mom and dad, "Did you want them on the Tennessee side, or Virginia side on the birth certificate?" You could make.
Oh,
back,
yeah?
Back in the '80s,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they could pick which state. My dad's like Tennessee.
So what's Winchester? Everyone has a claim to fame. What is Winchester's?
Patsy Cline.
Yeah, Patsy Cline's
Oh.
from here.
That's a good one.
Patsy
Yeah.
Cline.
It also
That's
changed.
crazy.
Also, there were 3 battles of Winchester
what you
during
did
the Civil
there.
War.
Thanks, man. 3 battles in the Civil War. I looked that one up. What I like to do to promote a show when I'm like, because you don't want to keep saying, "Hey, everybody, I'll be here," and that's it.
Yeah.
Over and over again because people will tune you out. So I like to play Jeopardy. Like I'll go to Wikipedia and look up a
And I
a
saw
fact.
a
smart.
tweet about it.
Yeah, and go like, "Hey, let's play this." That way, they don't even know that I'm trying to tell them. Oh, and I'm going to be there. You know? They
I
go
see-
Winchester, like, "Oh, I got a cousin in Winchester." I go, "You do? Tell him to come see me." You know, that kind of thing.
Also, they're known here for Apple Blossom Festival.
Blossom,
I guess the largest harvester of apples here.
Oh.
And then what else is it?
Apples, Patsy Cline, Civil War.
They used to print records here. They used to press vinyl here. I think the Beatles had an album that was pressed here, but then the factory closed or whatever. I think it was a Sony factory.
What
or something.
is this area we're in where it's just this walk part? Does this part have a name?
Old Town
Old
Walking
Town.
Mall?
Old Town.
There's actually a spot. If you go, I don't know if it's still there. There's a spot down there next to the Mexican restaurant called El Centro. It's, the reason it's called is there's a spot there where George Washington stood and said, "This is the center of Winchester," and they actually put a plaque on the ground calling it the center of Winchester.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so
I don't know if the plaque's there anymore, though. I didn't notice. It was there when they first built the walking wall.
I don't think so.
They care a lot about their history. I work with the city to get this plaque
yeah,
put
they
over
do.
here. Is where McKinley became a Mason.
Somewhere.
Was on this land.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of history. And then lately, a lot of people have been moving out in this way after COVID from DC because you can work from home a lot. And
So we're like an hour from DC?
yeah, about
45
an hour
minutes?
and 30.
Hour and a half.
depending
okay.
on time of day.
What,
Like 1 to
right.
5 hours.
Gee, I know, right? What is the number one job you think? What do most people do for a living in Winchester?
Right? Is it government?
Not out here. This is more blue. This is like a mix of blue
Is
and
it?
white
Okay.
collar.
I
So
thought
you
they were
got like
government people.
you got
they
you
make
got home
treks.
contractors and you got defense contractors.
Yeah, there is some defense stuff.
contractors.
A lot of contracting going on around.
Lots
here.
of contracting.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to certain bars, you can contract. So-
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Montaflow has a company out here. Trex.
So we're in Virginia, but we're close to West Virginia,
Yeah, this is called the Valley.
and we're close to DC.
That's on the other side of the mountain. They tell me I'm from the other side of the mountain because I live 48 miles east.
Okay. How far from Maryland are we?
Not too far. It's
Depends on which way you
30
go.
minutes.
30 minutes.
So we're like 30 minutes.
for
4
West
states
Virginia.
within 40 minutes.
Yeah, like if you go out one way, you go down through Harper's Ferry, and as soon as you go past Harper's Ferry, you're in Maryland.
Yeah. It is like a little weird zone.
Yeah,
right here.
it's kind of
like no
me and
man's
Chris
land.
have this because we've been on this side of the mountain now trying to do business now for a little over a year or so, and then like we're pretty.
Oh, you guys
convinced-
rednecks here? Is that
no,
what they call you?
No, we were like out of towners. Look at
yeah.
him; he's got tattoos and on his
Right.
neck and whatnot. You know what I mean? And
Ink neck.
he's wearing fancy Nike shoes.
Yeah.
But I guess we think by proxy, man. It's like what's that show? Ozarks.
Yeah.
It's like an Ozarks type of deal, dude. Because it's by proxy, all these interstates, and I'm just saying,
Yeah.
be a good place to hide money.
It's either that or it's an MK Ultra it's an MK Ultra reality show for the hyper elite.
Yeah,
Because all the weird stuff that we see in a given day out here is like, if you think in urban centers you see weird stuff, it's like we walk out the door and we'll go down for a walk down the walking mall just to see what's going on, and our interactions are far from ordinary with anybody.
What is most the establishments in the walking mall? Is it restaurant, bars? Is it more than that?
Mostly restaurants. I mean, there's also some retailers.
Yeah.
There's that Bell's place has been there forever.
The shoe center.
I spilled something on my shirt one day before a wedding, and there was no place for me to quickly buy a shirt. I had like 15 minutes, and I went down yonder and went into this Bell's place, and the cheapest shirt I could find was like $150.
Oh, so this is all right, high end. Maybe this is some
Well, that
expensive
place
stuff
is,
right
for
here.
sure.
There's
Yeah.
money. There's money here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, old money.
There's money here.
They have,
Old town, old money.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
Some new money.
What's the one? I need a local reference for a joke tonight. So, but here's what I need.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it depends on where you're going with the joke.
I need a town that's not Winchester that is known for being white, trashy, or rednecky.
Front
that-
Royal.
Martinsburg.
Front Royal.
Yeah, Front Royal.
Oh, I would have gone with
That's where I
Martinsburg.
live.
Front Royal got #1 drunk city in Virginia.
Drunk city.
Yeah.
Front Royal. That
The
can't be
naughty-
because it's black.
It ain't got nothing to do with black.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's very white.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling the joke.
Yeah.
If it's obviously a town that's known for, because I've asked this question before.
There's
I
some
need a
trifling
town
sons of bitches in Front
that's
Royal.
rednecky and white trashy, not just.
I'm
not
messing
just,
with you, dude.
We're rustic.
It's got because if it's like known for a crack or black something, then I tell it like, oh, he's
Yeah.
obviously a racist.
Yeah, you gotta stay away from it.
So it needs to be a rednecky, white, trashy place.
Yep.
Front Royal.
And that's
has-
Front Royal.
Yeah, Front Royal has also got the Appalachian Trail right there.
Yeah,
too.
it's got the Appalachian
Oh, yeah, a lot of
Trail.
people pop
It's
up
Canoe
the trail
capital of
coming to town.
Virginia.
No, I just heard two different
what capital?
pronunciations of the same word.
Appalachian.
Appalachian.
I say Appalachian.
I say Appalachian.
Yep. Both. See, isn't that funny?
But I'm a
I go
New
Appalachian.
Yorker.
Right.
I'm a New Yorker. So we
I was going to say, when you said Delaware, that was one cue. And no, you're not from the South either. Then if you say
From here, born and raised.
right, so do you count this as the South? Yeah. Do you?
yeah.
It's
You're
the
so far
beginning.
north though. You're like this close to DC, this close to Maryland.
Yeah.
And I don't count this as the South. Where's the Mason-Dixon line?
It's in
Pennsylvania,
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania,
You're just
Maryland.
south of it.
Okay, so
We
technically
are south of
maybe.
Pennsylvania.
I say Appalachian. I grew up saying Appalachian. and I think it can change depending on what part of the Appalachian Mountains you're at, right? Because in North Carolina they say Appalachian, but you go up and Appalachian Mountains does go all the way up to Maine. So I'm sure up there they would say the exact same range, but they would pronounce it Appalachian. Right. So it depends on where you're at, right? That's why both are acceptable. So, but when I'm watching, ESPN and the App State has beat Michigan again.
That's amazing.
Or something like that. They go, Appalachian State. I go, no, that's not how they pronounce it. That school pronounces it Appalachian.
Yeah.
Right? Go to Appalachian State and call it Appalachian. They will laugh your ass off the mountain.
Right. I know. The weirdest thing, man, is when I moved up to Virginia, I moved up near Roanoke. Yeah. From East Tennessee. And every time I got made fun of hard by people that I was meeting because I would say, hey, can I get some ice? Well, that was awful nice of you. And like they beat it out of me after 5 years or so. Like I say nice and ice. And then like I went down to see family a couple of weeks ago, and they were like,
"Man, that all depends on how much bourbon and what company you're holding, man."
Maybe when I break character, I have to deal with so many different characters throughout the day, and I don't know. But they broke that out of me.
My accent used to be a lot thicker then. I don't even know what you think this sounds like anymore. But I remember if you watch old tapes of yourself when you're a kid, just how different you sound. Country,
But here's the thing: as you go, because like when I'm here, even though you can still catch the New York, it's not as bad as like I even say my R's. New Yorkers don't say their R's. But as soon as I cross the border from New Jersey to New York, all of a sudden I'm talking like this. Do you get that?
Yes, 100%.
As soon as you're around that,
you kind of naturally want to assimilate just to be able to function and get communicate properly. Just because you want A, B, and C to happen. Like I would go. I'm from Hickory, North Carolina. I moved to Los Angeles. I'm out there a couple of years. Over time, you get tired of having to have the conversation of where you're from.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I would say, what do you want to drink? I want some iced tea, or something like that. They go, oh my God, where are you from? That's adorable. You're like, shut the hell up and go get my iced tea, waitress.
Yeah.
All right. Or my tip might reflect how you treat me right now. Over time, you just get tired of having to do it. And your body, you will naturally start trying to enunciate properly so that you can just get through the day.
Chris, what's the word you use for what I do when I'm around different people sometimes?
Code switching.
Code switching. I haven't heard that one.
I'm a mimic. I mimic. I start to mimic accents and stuff.
Yeah, I do that too.
I mimic them big time.
When I'm on vacation, I'll do that. Like me and my girl, I'll say, let's just pretend we're going to hang out in the hot tub. If someone comes in here, let's go Australian as long as we can. And just see if I can figure it out,
Yeah.
That was British.
Yes, it was. But it's close.
Mine is a hybrid of Australian and British.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started in comedy, I did voices, and I don't do them anymore. And one of the things I used to do is a dead-on Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther.
Ah, yeah.
And and I can't do it anymore because I haven't done it in years. But one day I walked into when I was dating my wife, I walked in and I said, I'm going to spend the day as Peter Sellers. And she said, don't do it.
Don't.
And she goes, why? She goes, because I won't be able to look at you with a straight face.
Yeah.
And I spent the day doing, Peter Sellers. And she was so mad at me, but it was so funny.
Yeah, that's fun. But yeah, I think, most people don't have to worry about this because most people will stay in the town they're from. They don't really go and live somewhere else. They might go vacation, but they don't move. Like, you know what I mean? Like most people will live and die in the town they're from.
Yeah.
So they don't know that this is a thing that exists. Your brain will do it subconsciously. Like when Madonna got shit for, and I'm not trying to defend Madonna, but when she was speaking in a British accent, it was because she lived there and someone happened to ask her a question, and that's just how. I don't think she did it on purpose. I don't think she was trying to act like something she's not. It's just like, well, this is how I've been talking because these are the people I'm around, and now it sounds weird to you because you don't live here and you don't know what I sound. You know what I mean? So I think it happens subconsciously. Who else was doing it? Now I think some people do it just to code switching, where they try to get some sort of extra credit, or they try to it's like stolen valor almost, where they're trying to sound smarter than they are, or that kind of thing. It was Alec Baldwin's wife. Have you Hilaria? Have you heard of this? Do you know Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
He just shot somebody.
He did. Yes. Yes. Shot and killed them.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
That's what he's gonna be famous for after a
Allegedly.
long career.
Just telling you, buddy.
His gun, the gun went off. He said he didn't
Yeah.
pull the trigger.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, his wife, like, I don't know, his second or third wife.
Allegedly shot
They got
somebody.
like, yeah,
Okay, cool.
allegedly. They got like 18 kids or something. But every time she shows up on camera, she starts speaking in this like Latino accent, and she's not that at all.
She's not Latinx.
No. And so she she's trying to get credit. She's trying to get sympathy. Like, don't beat up on me. I'm not even from this country. You should take me, you should be nice to me because look at me. Look at my situation. I got 8 kids and I'm not even from here, but really it's like bullshit. You got as much white privilege, if not more, than Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like us in the kitchen, like when we're dealing, like, in the kitchen, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the guys. I'm like, yeah, man, fuck this, fuck that. These dudes think they're all that, blah, blah, blah. Then you go out to the certain table, you're like, hello, sir, how are you this evening?
Yeah.
Is the steak to your liking? Yes, no? All right. Then you go back to the kitchen, like, oh, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You
I think it's just
or
because that's the situation that you're in and you just want to get through it in a good way. You know what I mean?
It's like
Right.
court.
I've had to be a communicator to various teams, man. Some in like the Beltway that are made up mostly of like different demographics of people, culturally diverse, and like I changed the way I talk to them in meetings versus the way I would talk to other groups of meetings. I don't do it crazy, but I don't know if it's code
like
switching, bro.
It is if you do it purposefully.
Yeah.
Like if you know you're doing it.
Oh, I don't know I'm doing
it's
that.
like-
I get called out.
It's like the way we text each other versus the way we text within our group,
Oh,
group.
shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Let me see your phone.
Hey, you know what? You can show it's a lot of
This will not be the
yeah.
first episode of Let Me See Your Phone.
that's
That is a good idea. Yeah.
There's a lot of Kenny Powers in our this morning's
yeah.
exchange.
Yeah, that's the name of my fantasy football league is Kenny Powers fucking football league.
My brother called his team the Ass Bloods because there was an episode of Eastbound and Down where Kenny Powers, what was his sidekick's name?
Kenny.
Stevie.
Stevie.
Yeah.
Stevie
Said
Janowski.
something about, we're the Ass Blood. Like he named him a stupid gang.
Yeah,
And my brother thought it was, so now his fantasy, I'm like, really? You want to call yourself the Ass Bloods?
Yeah, sounds awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, John, what is up next for you? You're finishing up a tour now? Just driving
I'm
around
always sort of like, now that COVID's pretty much done, I'm back on the road as much as I've ever been. So I'm doing random events. I moved back home to Hickory, North Carolina. I was living in LA for 18 years.
Ooh.
And I moved back to Hickory about 5 years ago. A series of events happened. Dad had a stroke. Mom's never lived by herself. And then, so I thought I'd move back home, park it with Mom, figure the situation. Then the pandemic happens.
Right.
All right. And then I meet a girl and fall in love. So
Nice.
all these things happen within a 5-year span. So now that I'm back home, basically for now living with my mom is my roommate. My dad is in a skilled nursing facility. So I go visit him. We try to make him happy by giving him drugs and milkshakes.
Right on.
That's all he wants. He doesn't want to do therapy. He just wants to get, comfortable. I'm
Sure.
I know that feeling. And so then Mom never lived by herself. She's got glaucoma, brittle bones, and all this stuff. So I'm trying to balance all these worlds. But now that I'm home, to answer your question, is I do like random events. So I'm doing a throwback prom, for people who didn't have a good prom experience.
Yeah.
This is your second chance prom, but we're only playing music from 85 to 95.
Okay.
And we're going to it's a fundraiser. And so I'm doing that on the 15th of April. And I also do a cruise. Me and my buddy John Heffron, comedian.
Right, yeah.
Very funny, yeah.
Reno Collier, very funny comedian, opened for Larry the Cable Guy for a long time. Trish Sir. We're all doing this comedy cruise, basically. And we're doing comedy, karaoke, podcasting, and just hanging out.
Out on a boat?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to any destination?
And my podcast. I'm working on country-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on my podcast, I give money away.
Oh.
Yeah. So every episode, I get residual checks in the mail all the time. And the amounts could be crazy. It could be a penny. It could be $1,200.
Right.
And I thought I'd make a game out of it. So there's a stack of envelopes on the desk. I don't know how much is in there. I open it live because my show's a live podcast.
Okay.
So it's live on YouTube and Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. And it's a podcast that goes up on all the podcast platforms that you could check out anytime you want. But when it's live in the moment, and I don't know how much is in the envelope, I open it. The game is called How Much Is That Screen Actors Guild Residual Check? Longest title of any game.
Yeah.
And so I have people call in. I tell you what it's for. Like, okay, this check is for one episode of Jane the Virgin. All right, how much is this check? And people will call in, make a guess. And the closest person to the amount, I literally sign that check, and I mail it to them.
Oh, man.
I don't know if they can cash it.
Is it Price is Right rules? So
No, horseshoes and hand grenades rules.
Hey,
So it's whoever's the closest wins. You can go over. I've given checks for over $1,100. Mostly it's $4.02. So I don't have a problem playing the game.
Yeah.
But it's a fun game.
That's
and then we
awesome.
also do a segment called Small Town News where we talk about weird things that happen in small towns. And that's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys heard of Waffle House Wendy?
yeah, the woman that caught the chair.
Yeah.
yeah, that's wild.
I
saw that clip.
Yeah,
that was
big
badass.
viral video.
Yeah.
Big fight that happened. She caught a chair midair, threw it down, begged for more, then beat the crap out of people. I had her zoom into my show just to tell her side of that story, and she came on and talked about that. And so that was that's the kind of the thing that we do. My favorite headline from last year, I'm not going to change a word of the headline. This is a real thing that happened. A Florida woman, shocker, a Florida woman bites a camel in the balls in order to save her deaf dog's life at a truck stop in Louisiana. That is a real thing that happened. There's a lot to digest in the headline. And so look up that episode of Country-ish if you want to hear that
I'm
story.
assuming the camel bit the dog and
The
wouldn't
camel
let go.
So apparently
she bit
there
its
was,
balls?
it was
Lord
a-
have mercy.
Yeah, it was a rant. So like in Louisiana, if you've ever been to Louisiana, it's like a different world. It's
I
a lot
heard.
of crazy weird things in Louisiana.
Well, you've got New Orleans. I mean,
Exactly. Well, there's this weird truck stop called the Tiger Stop, and this couple from Florida with their dog have to stop and get gas, let the dog out to pee. There's a weird petting zoo in the back, and the dog just gets away and makes a run for the petting zoo. And there's a camel that sees the dog, like it gets under the fence, and the camel's like, "Oh, free dog." And camels will just sit on things that they want, like a chicken on an egg, like they want to. It's mine now. They'll sit on it to claim it, right? So this dog got in there. This camel just sits on the dog. And the owner's freaking out. She jumps over the fence to save her dog. Camel sits on her. Now they're both underneath this gigantic animal, and the balls are in her face. And she said the only thing I could do
getting
was
teabagged
bite
by
him
a
in-
camel.
Right.
And she's bit
Biggest teabag of all time. And she bit him on the balls in order to get out of there.
And
save
it
her
worked.
life. Yeah. And she had dentures. It was a whole thing.
Oh, man.
Did they get stuck in?
I
Like
think they're
cartoon
still there,
style?
yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, I've checked. Who's those fellas on your podcast?
Just guys I went to high school with.
Oh, that's
My
awesome.
buddies from Hickory, just some good old Hickory boys that have spare time,
Right.
and I think they're kind of funny, and I give them fake celebrity status, like just as clickbait.
Right.
And one guy kind of looks like a guy I went to high school with him. His name is Mark Hunt, not Mike Hunt. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been better.
His name is Mark Hunt, and he just happens to be a good-looking guy. And he kind of looks like, if you squint your eyes, and I told you he was related to John Stamos, you would go, "Oh, I see it." And so when I moved back home, and I would go out, in my own hometown, people recognize me, and it's
Right.
sometimes can be annoying if you're just trying to just do a thing and not. So people would come up to me, and I thought, well, I'm going to make my friends famous. So, because I don't want, that's weird when you're hanging out with your friends and people start recognizing you, and your friends just stand there like, well, what about me?
Sure.
So I wanted to get them under the umbrella of what it's like or whatever. So I gave them fake backstories, and so my buddy, I made these business cards. I took a picture of him, and I put it on a business card, and it says Marcus Stamos, actor, comedian, John Stamos' little brother. And I bought a website called MarcusStamos.com, and I put up a whole story about him.
That's great.
And then we would go out in public, and people were like, "Hey, Jon Reep," or whatever. I go, yeah, but do you know who that is? They go, "Huh?" I'm like, "Oh, you don't know? That's John Stamos' little brother." And people stop looking at me and look, "Oh oh, bam, I got the card. I go, look, here he is. And they're like, what? And then before you know it, I'm off. I'm leaving. I'm gone.
Right.
Now he
So
has
it's your way to get the distraction.
yeah. So that's one guy on my
You ever
podcast.
closed the deal as Stamos' brother, you reckon?
He has, I'm sure.
That's awesome.
I'm sure. I kind of let him use that for a while. The
Sure.
website, it ran its course.
Right.
I didn't pay for it again. That was an expensive joke after a while. But so that's one guy. Another guy who I know from my childhood. His name is Sean Setzer, but he's a real tall dude and he played basketball and he kind of looks like he could be a Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
And so his name is Sebastian McConaughey. It means nothing. It's not as good as Stamos. But I give these guys, they're just guys that I went to high school with. I got some interns on there. One of my interns, I call him a hayseed Gen Z because his Virginia accent from the hills of Virginia,
Right.
Appalachian Hills.
The Norton area.
No, he's from the Appalachian Hills of Virginia. He is redneck. This guy, he's got an accent like this. When he talks, it's like time stands still. And you just get it out, man.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But I know. What? Yeah. He can't answer a question. If I say, Isaiah, what time is it? He goes, well, the last time that I looked at a timepiece, I want to say it was about 45 to a half hour ago, but that could have been because I was in the Eastern time zone. You're like, what time is it, man?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those dudes. But he's 21, so that means he is a Gen Z,
Right.
but he's a hayseed. So I call him a hayseed Gen Z.
That's great.
And he's on my podcast. I make him read the reviews and do some weird small town news story stuff. But we just have a good time. If I had to sum up what is country-ish is more just my brand.
Sure.
Because, I'm a Metro Jethro. I like sushi. Also love tartar sauce and hush puppies. I'm the weird hybrid. So, but the podcast itself, it's just fun. It's just a good time. We just cut up.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I'll probably put it in a rotation with. I watch Pat McAfee after work for sports news. I'm gonna throw that one in there.
I should have a sports segment.
You should.
Yeah.
Like SEC news, ACC news.
Yeah, ACC. That's
You'd
what
have to be ACC,
ACC
but
country is
yeah.
what we are. Yeah, because everyone in my circle roots for Carolina,
Yeah, it's got to be.
and it's so annoying because I went to state,
Yeah.
and then it's either Carolina and then Duke, and then NC State's like the third stepchild.
I had a guy that was who was a busser for me, and then became a dishwasher, then a server, named Jimmy Long. He became a coach at North Carolina State. Football.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Long. What of what sport?
Football.
Okay.
Yeah, he played football at what is the name of that college there? It's kind of smaller.
Well, Peace, Meredith, St. Mary's.
Oh,
Those are all girls' colleges.
no, he didn't go to that one.
That's
Forget
what
what
was one
it's
good thing
called.
about being in college at NC State. There's 3 girls' colleges in that same area, and it was,
Oh, that's probably good.
it was good.
Good
The
time.
odds are in your favor.
Yes. Well, it seems to be these days. Odds should be in your favor if you're got a little testosterone and a little bit of willpower.
Yeah. Well, what's kind of made that. I'm engaged now, so
Okay.
I'm out of the game. But I could say in my single time, yes, that was fun. I mean, there's the apps now are great. Tinder, all that. I'm so far away from it that Tinder was the last one that I was on,
Sure.
and then it went to Bumble, and I don't know what else is out there now.
I don't know.
How was that?
I missed
What
all
is
the
it?
apps, man.
Hinge.
Hinge.
I see. I'm so far removed.
I don't understand the
Weren't you
title.
telling me about that one? You like
Hinge.
the one Grinder that you said you had the most success with? Grinder.
Grinder. That's a big one.
Curfew doesn't know what that means.
The gay one. Yeah. No, but
Okay.
That's the gay hookup one. That's not even.
Yeah. As a single dude, that's
Yeah.
a good thing. It's easy.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's
that's
also, I
crazy.
will say this, because I have some single friends who like to do shady things from time to time. You can't get away with anything anymore.
Yeah,
You're going to get caught. If you're a famous person,
sure.
you're going to get caught if you're trying to do shady shit because everyone cannot wait to rat you out.
Yeah,
If you're out there doing something shady and someone takes a picture, knows about it, or your girl, your side piece wants to look you up,
yeah.
you can get caught real simple out there.
It's a hustle.
Be careful, hustlers.
It's a hustle, man.
Yeah, it's like a
Rambling,
full-time
gambling
job.
man out there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, John, we got to let you get ready
That's
for your
it?
show. Get your mind right.
Man, I think I did all the talking. I'm sorry.
That's what you're
Kind
supposed
of
to
the
do.
goal.
Yeah, it's not. Again, thanks for sitting down with us. I know we're new at this, and you didn't
My
have to do that.
pleasure,
I
buddy.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
this is amazing. Thank you.
We're gonna go out here
Yeah.
and make sure everybody does a good job to, create a great performance.
You got any
space for
tour
you.
dates y'all want to plug? Anything you want to plug at the end?
MonumentVA.com. You can see everything we're doing. Just we got Apple
May the
Blossom
4th.
coming up. We're gonna
What
got-
platforms is this on?
Spotify and YouTube.
YouTube and Spotify. Okay,
Yep.
very good.
That's it.
Which camera should I wave at?
I hope this one's got a good angle on us.
Well, at least it's from above.
Yeah.
So that's
Gets
the
the
good
chin- the
thing.
chin-
This one I'm not happy about.
Right.
It is what it is.
The ball cam.
I think watching
Yeah.
other podcasts, like if you know where the camera is, you'll talk into it. I kind of like that we don't really know where it is. I forget that it's there.
That's a good point.
yeah.
That is a really good point because my podcast, I'm very aware of it. We've got 6 cameras on my podcast. I think we're one of the best produced shows out there.
Yeah, it's really clean, man.
That it looks like a TV show.
Yeah.
We've got one. Yeah, it's a lot to talk, but 6 different cameras. We got a guy switching back and forth
Right.
between different angles, but it's their iPhones, and I will see them, and a tally light will come on as to which one he's going back and forth. So every now and then you kind of want to do it, you know,
Like a squirrel.
yeah.
I feel you. All right. Well, we appreciate you, man. We're going to let you get your mind right. And,
All right.
and tear it up this evening. All right,
Peace.
thanks, Erwin.
Aye.
Peace, y'all.
It's not just the new venue in town. It's a monument to live entertainment.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
The Monument, the new premier concert and event venue in Winchester. 2 stories, state-of-the-art sound, delicious food and drink, and the best in live events. The Monument, on the corner of Loudon and Piccadilly in Winchester, and right at the cutting edge of live entertainment. Go to themonumentva.com. That's themonumentva.com for events, tickets, special offers, and more. The Monument. We'll see you at the next show.